All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us his truth and rule well. And salutation, much love for you, Aki, and pushing his truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump to this quick little lesson real quick. As the things are getting harder and harder around the globe, for, everyday people to so-called eat, sustain a job and things like that, a lot of these things, ultimately is going to end up with the great temptations coming upon the whole earth. All right, the MOTB, but nevertheless, we have to, have faith in the Lord that the Lord is going to deliver us in these things, and also like the scriptures say, there's a couple different scriptures, but nevertheless, wisdom and knowledge to be the stability of that time, so that you don't go out and sell out or whatever. But hey, ultimately, the Lord is going to defend his people, his servants. All right. Matter of fact, we can start with that. But nevertheless, I'll just quote. I was going to say, I'll just quote it, but nevertheless, the Lord is not unrighteous to forget your works and your labor of love. He's not going to leave you out there hanging. All right. The things that was written aforetime was written for our learning and our understanding. All right. You can see about the, the men that was before us. Who did he forsake? All right. Matter of fact, where's that at? If you grab that real fast, just getting to the point. I don't want to make this too long. Sirach 2:10, it says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken, or whom did he ever despise that call upon him? All right. So, hey, like the other scripture I just quoted about, the Lord is not unrighteous to forget your work and your labor of love, putting forth ministering into his saints, but nevertheless, in these times it's coming up, some of these people questions may ask, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Or they'll try to result into a so-called carnal plan as far as, oh, well, we'll just do this, we'll do that. But ultimately, the ultimate end game goal is to do what? Is to trust in the Lord and have the Lord to defend us, to deliver us in these things, man. All right, because ultimately that's what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for faith. All right, he's looking for those that will believe upon him. All right, we can actually go to that real quick, or we may end with that. Lord's will, we'll come back to that in Revelation 3. But nevertheless, the Lord is going to ultimately defend his elect. All right, but like I said, I'm not going to make this too long, but we'll just grab a couple precepts real quick going into these things. This is Job 5:19. All right. It says he will deliver, Job 5 verse 19. It says he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Matter of fact, let me go to what is that? Let me go here first. All right, because these are the times that we're coming upon. All right, let me grab this other precept. They just keep coming to my mind at the moment. Let me start here in Matthew 24 first. Matthew 24 verse 21. Yeah, Matthew 24:21 says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. All right, so hey, this is going to be a time like never before since there was a nation on the earth, even into the same time. Verse 22 says, and except those days should be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So hey, these things are all coming to pass for what? The speeding up of these prophecies and things. There's going to be an elect that's going to be actually delivered, that's going to be saved from these things, man. Right, the Lord has a certain allotment, because you have to understand, man, this destruction that's coming is for the wicked, all right, to take the wicked out, all right, but then you also going to have a deliverance. The deliverance is going to be for the elect. The elect's going to be saved up out of these things, man. So hey, the Lord, you're going to be right there into these things, all right, but nevertheless, the Lord is going to wind up delivering you from these things, all right. Let's go over real quick to Jeremiah chapter 30. I'll start at verse 5. All right, it says, for thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. All right, because some people will have you believe that, there is no such thing as Jacob's trouble. All right, or, there ain't going to be no calamities, or go back to sleep. That, the world's going to go on like never, like always before. Everything's just going to be fine and dandy. All right, like the scripture said, they was eating, drinking, marrying, and giving into marriage. All right, to the day, the Lord closed the door of the ark and the flood came. All right, but nevertheless, it's gonna be the same way here. They're gonna be thinking and eating and drinking, giving in the marriage. And they thinking about peace and safety. But that day is gonna come upon them as a thief in the night, unexpected when they're not expecting these things, man. All right, but then you also have some people that are so-called preparing and expecting these things, but ultimately those things are gonna be for the elect, man. You have some people that are doomsday prepping and things like that, trusting in their own arms to deliver them. But at the end all be all, you're not going to ever have a person that's going to have a scenario at the end all be all of this here situation that's going on. It's going to say, hey, you know what? I redeemed myself from these hard times. I redeemed myself from the judgment. I redeemed myself from destruction. Nobody's going to have a right to say that in these days, man. Anybody that's going to be delivered is going to be, really you got two types of people that's going to be delivered. You're going to have the Lord's righteous elect that's going to be delivered, all right, because the Lord predestined them from the beginning, all right. Again, everybody's going to be predestined, but nevertheless, the Lord's elect, all right, they're going to be the 144,000 and the 1/3. Those are going to be delivered up out of here, all right. Then you also have on obviously the wicked side. You have the elected O's, the first fruits going into slavery, the elites, the kings and the noblemen, but nevertheless, in them and their pride, they're going to be deceived thinking that I was able to escape these things, but what they don't realize, they just being preserved to be the first fruits in the slavery. But as far as the regular people that's on the earth, man, you're not going to have some dude just like, I built my doomsday bunker deep enough in the ground and I had enough food stocked up. I had enough bullets and things like that. No, man, none of these things are going to be able to save you in those times, man. All right, because the Lord, it's the Lord that's bringing these things, not man. All right, let's go back. Jeremiah 30:5. It says, "For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." All right, see, it ain't no times where we're going back to so-called happiness. Good times. All right. Evil times are growing upon the earth, bad times. All right, this is why we just read about there should be great tribulation on the earth, and except those days should be shortened. All right, the Lord has to speed up these things, speed up these end time prophecies, so that redemption follows all these things, man. All right, verse 6 says, "Ask ye now, see whether a man doth travail with child." All right, like, is there a man that's how do I put it, giving birth? Is there? Do you hear a man that's like in labor pains? All right, it says, "Ask ye now, see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness?" All right, because it's about to be a time like never before. Again, you can go on YouTube and watch, look up what they call end of the world pranks, end of the world nuclear pranks, where people sitting at home, and the kids will put on this little YouTube video where it's one of those emergency broadcast service little clips telling you about an incoming nuclear strike or something like that. And some of the people who have real reactions to these things, and they just flip out and lose it, man. All right, one moment they could be the wisest person on the earth and have everything under control, or give you that the illusion of those things. Oh, I got everything. Hey, but once they hear those things and quote unquote reality starts hitting them, all that shit go out the window. They lose their minds. All right, so hey, man, this is the time that we're coming upon, man. When a time where you can't ignore these things, man. All right, a lot of people would say that we preach negativity and things like that, but now they're in a point now, like the scriptures say, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. We don't have to tell you things is getting bad out there. When you go to the grocery store, you realize that you can't buy what you could buy before with the same amount of money. All right, when you go to your job, they have certain mandates and requirements for you to have. All right, when you go anywhere else, you hear somebody cough or sneeze or something like that, you got people that are on high alert. All right, so you already know, without us even telling you, the vision is speaking for itself, man. It's not lying. You know that these things are coming to pass now. But nevertheless, hey, when we get into that time, all right, it's going to be a real harsh times out here for people. We're not going to be asking this Jacob's trouble. But nevertheless, the point of this here lesson was to show forth that, hey, the Lord's elect was going to be taken care of, man. All right, you don't have to worry about these things, man. The Lord is going to make a way for you to, to prevail against all these things. He's going to deliver you out of all these troubles. And in fact, we'll grab that next. But, the point is that the Lord is going to make a way out for his elect, man. All right, it's not with your conventional way of being. Again, you're not going to be at the end of the day say that your own arm brought you salvation, man. It's going to be, it's going to be, like they say, the vision at the end it shall speak and not lie. It's going to be obvious. That's the word I'm looking for. It's going to be obvious that the Lord delivered you. All right, because there's certain things like, you may have food stacked up in one certain spot, enough food for you to survive from, but hey, shit pop off and you nowhere near over there, and all of a sudden you just keep coming across these people and those people, or so on and so forth, for there's different stashes to where you was eat. Like, damn, I had all my food stocked up, but I could never even get to my food. But then guess what? The Lord still provided a way for me to eat, because look, I came across this, came across that, came across this, and came across that. I didn't plan for those things, but hey, the Lord brought me up to these places at the right time and the right moment. All right, so hey, at the end all be all, the Lord is going to be the one to get the glory of those things. All right, but let's go back. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." All right, so hey, going into he shall be saved out of it. Not all of Israel, because 2/3 of it, they're gonna have to learn at the death by pain. They didn't want to hearken. All right, but let me grab that real quick. The elect, they're gonna wind up being delivered. 2nd Ezra 9 and 7. All right, it says, "And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed." All right, hey, because you having faith in the Lord to deliver you up out of these things, man. All right, the Lord's gonna wind up saving you. Verse 8 says, "Shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning." All right, ultimately going back to that predestination. But nevertheless, hey, the Lord is gonna be the one that's gonna deliver you out of these things. Now let's go back to this in Job 5 and 19. It says, "He shall deliver thee." All right, the Lord is going to deliver you in these things. All right, it says, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evils touch thee." And real quick touching on that, how they say, contrary to popular belief of these Christians and things like that, and even in some of these Israelite camps that'll tell you, oh, ain't no such thing as Jacob's trouble. But in the churches, they'll tell you about, how do they call it, pre-tribulation rapture, meaning that you're not going to go through no tribulation. You're going to wind up being raptured before those things, man. All right, hey, that's not according to the scriptures. All right, now the elect is going to be taken up out of this here earth. All right, but nevertheless, they're going to be living through these, these trials and tribulation, the great tribulation. We're living through it right now. So let me reread that in Job 5 and 19. It says, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles," just like we're living right now, man. All right, the Lord is delivering us from all these different things here and there, The Lord has got it to where his elect didn't have to go get that juice. All right, and he's going to deliver his elect from having to go take that MOTB. All right, but nevertheless, we're going to still be here, right along the times when these things is going on, man. All right, famines is creeping up on the earth. Wars and rumors of wars is creeping up on the earth. All right, we still hearing all these things, but guess what? The Lord is providing and delivering us a way out, man. All right, it says, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 shall no evil touch thee." All right, going into that 7th is when what? Those nukes are starting to rain down on the earth, and what the elect is actually being beamed up into the chariots. All right, that's where they get that confusion from, or that madness, because they wasn't given the truth. But nevertheless, yeah, the elect is going to be called up, come up hither. All right, they're going to be called up into the chariots, but that's when those nukes are simultaneously coming down in the twinkling of an eye. We're going to be changed. All right, but nevertheless, all these other things, it says, verse 19, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles," meaning, hey, man, you're going to, we'll read it a little further down, but, and when certain things pop up, there's going to be a so-called answer to these things. All right, and we'll read that shortly. It says, verse 19, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee," going into those nukes. But verse 20 says, "In famine he shall redeem thee from death." All right, so, hey, so when, how do I put it? When there's like food shortages, or you may not be able to afford to eat and things like that, hey, man, the Lord is going to provide a way for you to eat. All right, whether it's somebody else bringing you food, you may have somebody, let's just say hypothetically, things is all scarce and everything else like that, or they may have restaurants that's going on, and people are eating in these restaurants and stuff like that, but then all of a sudden some shit break out, you know what I'm saying, and they had to start closing down, people just start running and scattering, and then that was, 2 minutes before you arrived, and now all of a sudden you just walk up to this here empty ass building because everybody that's scattered up out of there, all right, and it's just full of food, and now you can just go and eat, or you may come across somebody else who was doomsday prepping and everything else like that, again, wasn't able to get out to their little doomsday facility and things like that. Now you you living as pilgrims, you walking around and everything else like that, and the Lord brings you right over there to there, man. All right, then all of a sudden now you just sitting in there, you got an abundance of food to eat. By the time you get done eating all of that food, the Lord instructs you to get up and get on the move again. And then the next thing you know, you come across somebody else that bring you to some, another little spot, and then all of a sudden something might happen to them or something else like that, to where, again, now you full of food again, man. All right, and on this here side now, the Lord has showed us, plenty of small signs of these different things, man. All right, whether, when you come into this here truth, all right, and you have a job, a certain type of job, and a certain way of living and certain things like that with bills and everything else like that, then all of a sudden something happens to where, hey, you stand firm for the Lord, you lose your job, all right, but then guess what? You're not even without a job for a little bit of time, and the Lord provides you with another job, a better job, a job where you can go out and serve the Lord with, maybe even give you a little bit of extra shekels in your pocket, or, give you the same amount so you can sustain your way of living. You don't have to downgrade, or even if you do have to downgrade, it's in a better position. All right. So ultimately, the Lord always provides you with a better way. All right. You just have to, how do I say, have the eyes to see these things, man. Because some people, something will happen to some people and they don't even realize, how the Lord then saved them from something different, and it may be a time in the gap. You may have lost a good paying job, let's just say hypothetically, before the pandemic. I can actually speak for that. I got fed up with certain people I was working with. This damn demon came back to this job that I was working at. The job was paying pretty good and everything else like that. But he came back and I already knew, that it wasn't going to work out between me and him. One day he came up trying to antagonize me, get me to how do I say, explode on his ass so he could fire me. And I was just like, nope, come over here, give him my signing paperwork, I'm out of here, And the Lord just had it to where I quit that job, and lo and behold, he gave me a different job to where it was like, hey, now, because at the first job, they was forcing me to take vacation just to get Saturdays off to go out to preach the word, all right, and nevertheless, just dealing with all these damn Edomites, but nevertheless, the Lord provided me with a way better job, all right, where, I had the weekends off and everything else like that. Now, looking back, when the pandemic came around, they was forcing people to, wear certain things over their face, all right, and sip certain juices and things like that, if you catch my drift, all right. But look, I didn't even have to make that decision because, hey, the place that he had already placed me at before these things came to pass, they wasn't going to implement those things, man. Now, you got a different type of job and everything else like that. So, hey, the Lord will provide for his elect, man. All right, but let's continue on. Job 5 and 19, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee, and famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Hey, so even at that time, you could be in a time and a place where war is breaking out, you know what I'm saying, and hey, right before bombs start dropping into your little buildings or wherever you at, hey, the Lord will have it to where you just get up and you go, and you may not know how things may pop off, when things pop off, man. The Lord could just have it to be like, yo, man, you got a job, and your job is like, look, we got to send you on a business trip over here for this here training, and you may be thinking, fuck, man, I ain't trying to go out of town or nothing like that because of X, Y, and Z, but hey, you gotta go. Now all of a sudden the job that sent you out for this business training, and boom, war breaks out in the area where you was at. Now you stuck where you at, and now look, you provided with abundance of food, no war, no stress. You got a lot of peace going on around you, but hey, the Lord had already moved you into that location, man, or just anything like that, man. So you have to have that type of faith that the Lord, and then also have the eyes to see, damn, the Lord wound up, think back to again, the things that was written aforetime written for I learn and I understand. And look at Joseph. All right, Joseph was sold into slavery from his brothers. You know what I'm saying? Well, first they was gonna kill him. Then they was like, nah, let's just sell him into slavery, basically. And from Joseph's perspective, it seemed like it was a bad thing, but really it was the Lord that was setting him up in Egypt. All right, then he went to jail and everything else like that. But nevertheless, the Lord was setting him up to ultimately come back and save his own family and things like that for in the future. So from Joseph's perspective, as things was going, things didn't look so good. Things looked like it was on the downtrodden, going down. All right, but ultimately it was there to save him. So, hey, just like in those days, the Lord is going to do the same thing in these days, man. All right, in fact, we'll close out with that. But nevertheless, let me continue on with this. Job 5 and 20. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. So, hey, man, when these things is coming, man, you're not going to be afraid of these things. Now, granted, you may have short-term carnal fears and things coming up like that. Oh, shit, what's going on here and there? But ultimately, the Lord is going to provide for you, man. The Lord will, ultimately, hey, that's why you're supposed to stay in the scriptures, man. All right, but nevertheless, the Lord is going to ultimately provide for you, man. Like when we start seeing these things that's popping off with World War III, like, hey, that's a prime example. Russia, Ukraine, and them talking nuke talk and everything else like that. Wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of that time. We know that that's not what's about to pop off, so we ain't really afraid of those things like that going on right now, man. All right, we know that there's other things that has to take place. And also, hey, like the scripture say, I quoted, the Lord is not unrighteous to forget your work and your labor of love. All right, so we know that, and we have faith in the Lord is going to deliver us. All right, he's going to have his hedge and his angels around about us, man. All right, but let's continue on. It says, verse 22. It says, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So, hey, just like now with the food prices and things going up, yeah, we're affected by these things as well, too. But nevertheless, the Lord is always constantly making a way for us, man. All right, hey, man, you may be at the store and somebody may, the cashier or something like that. You might not even know this person, or, you may see this person, or they may see you all the time from shopping in the same store, man. And this has happened multiple times, man, where they'll sit there and either ring you up for a lower price, or they'll, you know what I'm saying? They might not even ring the shit up and just put it in the bag. Like, hey, did you get that on there? Like, look, I'm going to get it if you don't quit asking me about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we've seen all these things happen before, man. Or they just put a little extra into your bag, or just, you know what I'm saying? They just help you out for some odd reason. And then you start thinking, why, bro, you don't know me like that. You don't know me on first name basis, and we not buddy or nothing like that. But you start thinking, hey, call halal, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh Shah, man. Because that was the Lord that was wound up doing those things, man. The Lord wound up having, the butcher come back on around, like, hey, I see you over here looking at this and looking at that. I'm about to put this here out on the shelf or whatever, and you looking at the meat that you get, and it might be let's say the meat costs $25 for this here pound or something like that, and they come back on around with something that costs you $24, $23, and it's 2 or 3 pounds, man. It's double, double, triple the weight. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden it's the same price or a little bit cheaper, and he's like, here, just take this one here for you. So hey, ultimately the Lord is going to provide for his elect, man. All right, let me grab this. We'll close out. Let me grab this in Isaiah. All right, hey, we got plenty of scriptures for these accounts, man, to build up our faith with. But Isaiah 65:13, it says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servants, keyword, his servants, shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. All right, so, hey, for all these different things, you worried about stacking up food and everything else like that. Hey, the Lord said his servants are going to wind up eating, but those that didn't want to serve the Lord, they're not going to eat, man. All right, they're stacking up all these things. You really think about it, they're stacking up a lot of these things for what? The elect, man. All right, the elect is out here putting in that work, making their bodies a living sacrifice to feed the Lord's sheep. And the Lord is not unrighteous to forget your work. You was feeding his sheep, he's going to wind up feeding you, man. So you don't have to worry about these things. You just have to have faith in the Lord, man. All right, let's continue on. Verse 14, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And we see these things happening right now as far as, people losing their jobs. People, there's a lot of different things going on. I'm not saying we are immune to losing our jobs and things like that, but hey, we have a different tone and sentiment of these things that's going on. When we see the news articles that's lamentations mourning and woe to everybody else, we rejoice because we know that our salvation is that much more near. All right, we know that the Lord is going to take care of us in the end all be all, man. So we're not really worried about these things like how everybody else is worried about these things, and they losing their job, their pension and 401k plan. They thought that this place was going on forever, but these are signs to us that our salvation is near. This here place of our oppression is coming to an end. All right, but nevertheless, let me close out with this real quick. Revelation 3:10. All right, because ultimately the Lord is going to wind up delivering his elect. All right, Revelation 3:10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. All right, because you did what the Lord said to do. All right, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell on the earth. All right, so hey, when it comes to that point in time where you got to have that basically you can't how do I say, you won't be able to buy or sell, say if you have that mark. All right, hey, the Lord is going to wind up saving his elect, providing for his elect. All right, making a way out for his elect, man. So, hey, you don't have to worry about these different things. Hey, like the scriptures say, let go of the mortal thoughts, how we're going to fare in these days. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, the Lord is going to be the way we're going to fare in those days. The Lord is going to be the one that delivers us in these days. The Lord is going to be the one that feeds us in these days, man. So, hey, any of your questions that you have like that, hey, you just kick it back to the Lord. Hey, how we going to wind up eating? How we going to wind up doing this? How we going to wind up doing it? Hey, the Lord is going to provide, man. All right, that should be the end-all, be-all for all that, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone that taught us this truth and that ruled well. And salutation, much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.